Good evening, everyone. We are from Group 5. My name is Lena, and today with my friend Halde and Stella Luna, and we are going to present about behavioral accounting research. Next. Here are the table of content that we are going to discuss today. The first one is about the definition and scope of BAR, and then importance of BAR and three major approaches, and then representativeness, the evidence, accounting and behavior, limitation of BAR, issues for auditors, and the last one, we are also going to discuss about the case study. First, we will talk about definition and scope of BAR. Next. So behavioral accounting research has been defined as the study of behavior of accountants or behavior of non-accountants as they are influenced by accounting function and reports. Between capital market research, agency theory research, and BAR can be called as positive research, and also all of which are concerned with discovering fact. Each of these is designed to answer very different types of questions about the practice of accounting. For the example, in the capital market research is asked about how do security market react with discovering fact to accounting information, and then agency theory is asked about what are the economic incentive that determine the choice of accounting method, and BAR is asked about how do people actually use and process accounting information. The capital market research is focused at the macro level of aggregate security market, while agency theory and BAR focus on the micro level of individual managers and firms. The capital market research and agency theory are both derived from the discipline of economics and assuming that everyone is a rational wealth maximizer. But in BAR is derived from other disciplines such as psychology, sociology, and organizational theory, and generally makes no assumption about how people behave. Rather, its objective is to discover why people behave as they do. Next. So the major type of BAR in financial accounting is known as the human judgment theory or human information processing. And it is encompasses the judgment and decision making of accountants and auditors and the influence of the output of this function on users' judgment and decision making. The goal of research in this model is often more than explaining and predicting behavior at individual or group level, but it is also concerned with improving the quality of decision making of both producers and users of accounting reports. Next. So based on our discussion, the differences between SJT and HIP is based on the basic objective. So in the human judgment theory, the basic objective is describe the way in which people use and process pieces of accounting and other information in particular decision-making context. And in the human information processing, the basic objective is to understand, describe, evaluate, and improve the decision process that used in like accounting or auditing context. Next. So the next section, we will talk about the importance of BAR. Next. There are 4 points for the importance of BAR. The first one is about the need to determine the decision-making steps that are being made by the preparers, users, and also auditors in regard of accounting information that both in the capital market and agency theory are not able to fulfill on how each parties can utilize and process information. The second one is about providing useful understanding into the ways various types of decision makers that produce, process, and react to particular items of accounting information and communication method. By knowing such information, people will be able to improve their decision making, such as by using the Brunswick lens model approach. The example from both preparers and user side are the fact that each side would like to prevent on making bad decision. For example, auditors would like to prevent on making bad audit because they do not want to be getting sued, or the investor, they do not want to make a wrong investment because it will lead them to losses. The third one is about providing useful information to accounting regulators. On disclosing the useful information for decision making, this is due to the fact that financial statement must prove to be useful for its users, and then the standard setters must set the standard on which method and disclosures that may improve such thing. And last but not least, to increase efficiencies in the work practices of accountants and other professionals. So by supporting the implementation of BAR, it may develop a computerized expert system for the decision-making steps and also help the experienced workers to learn the implementation and also not only lean on the expert one. Next. In the development of BAR in the area of financial accounting has been eclipsed by the dominance of contracting theory since 1980s. So some of the highlight during the years are in the 1954 when HJT as the basis of the BAR, and then in the 1977 as the first appearance of the BAR, and the 1974 which the BAR implementation to the accounting and the audit field. And last but not least, in the 80s, contract theory is dominating the BAR, particular for the financial accounting. Next. So in order to understanding the way information process, there are three major research approaches in regard of behavioral accounting research. So the first one is the Brunswick-Lance model. This approach is in the form of an analytical framework and serve as the basis for most judgment studies involving the prediction and also the evaluation. And the second one is process tracing. That this approach provide an explanation about the way decisions are made in the form of representative trees. And the last approach is probabilistic judgment. And this approach is consists of a probabilistic statement based on the Bayes theorem, which is probability of certain event based on the prior knowledge of condition that might be related to the event. And these three approaches are mainly used in understanding the way information is processed. And the next slide, we will discuss the detail of each of these approaches. Next. The first approach is the Brunswick-Lance model. So the Lance model is used by researchers to investigate the relationship between multiple cues and decisions and judgment or prediction by looking for the pattern in the response of those cues. In the figure 13.1, it shows that the bank loan officer is given financial ratio and other accounting information for different companies. In this diagram, the bank loan officer is asked to make a judgment, and on the basis of this information, the bank loan is make a judgment about which of the companies will default on their loan payment and which company that will not default on their loan. So we can simplify the bank loan officer's judgment by using the equation that's shown in this slide. And the beta weights represent the relative importance of the information to the bank loan officers to make judgment. So in this question, the debt to equity ratio is being most important cue to the bank officers. Next. So in this diagram, the left-hand side of diagram shows the relationship between the event of interest like default or non-default and the variable being used to assess that event. So the Brunswick-Lance model can examine the relationship between the event and the information cues being used by the decision makers to see whether the right cues are being used or whether the pieces of accounting information are useful for predictors of the event. And the decision makers can be informed if the information cues are not relevant to the decision, and teach which pieces of information that more helpful. Next. On the right-hand side of the diagram, it shows the relationship between the decision maker and the information cues. The Brunswick-Lance model can be conducted to learn how decision makers actually use the accounting information cues and what weighting or importance that they assign to each cues. So we might find that the decision makers is not weighting the cues correctly. For example, like too much emphasis is placed on the profit figures when our analysis of the information cues suggests that more emphasis should be given to the debt to equity ratio and operating cash flow information instead. So with this information, we could train decision makers to change the weightings that they give to the different information cues to improve the accuracy of their judgment. And in addition, we might discover that there are pieces of accounting information that useful for making decision that the decision makers is not presently using. And this information could be used in training session to improve the decision makers' performance. Next. So the Brunswick-Lance model usually has good predictive powers, which it remove much of the random errors due to human things such as tiredness, illness, or distraction. But one important limitation of the Brunswick-Lance approach is that it is not a good descriptor of how people actually make decisions. So process tracing method is developed. The Brunswick-Lance model is made on 4 literatures, such as the accuracy of human prediction of business failure, and then the second one is the model of human human behavior. The third one is the information overload literature, and lastly, the judgment confidence literature. So many studies have used the Lance model framework to examine the accuracy of human prediction of business failure. It has generally been researched by providing the subject with a number of numerical cues across repetitive case of actual business success and failure. And it is drawn from archival data. In this task, correct solution exists as a benchmark against which to compare human performance. And using the Lance model as research tool will allow analysis of consistency of judgment of whether a model of human behavior can predict more accurately than human. So in the model of human behavior, it is developed using a mathematical representation of individual pattern of use of those cues. So humans are reasonable proficient at developing models to solve the success or failure tasks using financial ratio, but they are outperformed when their own models are applied mathematically. And the information overload literature has implication for the presentation and disclosure issues in financial accounting. It provides evidence of lower consensus and lower decision-making consistency for individuals experiencing overload. It is believed that as the amount of information increase in the beginning of the use, and integration of the information will be increased. However, beyond some point, the additional information can result in a decrease in the amount of information integrated into the decision-making task. And last, the judgment confidence literature has consistently found that both expert and non-expert subjects are overconfident on their ability and in specific judgment tasks. And the factors are the tendency for human to seek out and overweight positive feedback, and then the limited nature of feedback in many instances, and also the interdependency of action and outcomes. And the next section will explain about process tracing by my friend Stella.
Okay, and then the other approach of modeling decision we can use is called process tracing or verbal protocol methods. So in process tracing, the decision maker may again, for instance, be given a series of case studies to analyze, but this time is asked to verbally describe each step gone through when making the decision. These verbal descriptions are recorded by the researcher and then analyzed to produce a decision tree diagram to represent the decision processes of the decision maker. And then in the left side of the slide is an example. It's a hypothetical decision tree model of a bank loan officer's default or non-default judgment. So all the circle here is what we call node and contains a question related to a step in the decision process. And then depending on the answer to the question in the node of the tree, a decision might be reached or a further step is needed. Like in here, the first step of the bank officer's decision process is to ask whether the debt to equity ratio is greater than 3. If the answer is yes, then the officer immediately concludes that the loan applicant will be default. But if the answer is no, then the officer will proceed to the next stage of the decision process and ask whether the company size is greater than $10 million. The answer to these questions then lead to further questions and so on down the tree until a judgment is reached about the likelihood of the loan applicant defaulting, like that. And then, as we know, both of the approach mentioned before has their own limitation. So some researchers have tried to overcome the limitations by combining the predictive and the descriptive power of the two approaches. And this alternative is a statistical technique called as classification and regression trees. Okay, next. Okay, this is the process tracing studies, the evidence. So Brunswick Lens model and process tracing style studies are different technologies with the same objective of modeling decision process as completely as possible. So Brunswick Lens model implicitly treat the decision process as a simple linear combination of the information cues, whereas the decision trees derived from process tracing acknowledge the step-by-step nature of decision making, in which the information content of one piece of data interacts with that of the other piece of data. And then next. Okay, this is about probabilistic judgment. So this model is useful for looking at situation in accounting where initial beliefs about a prediction or evaluation need to be revised once further evidence become available. For example, an investor revision of an investment decision in the light of new evidence concerning the outcome of a lawsuit against a firm. And then this model argues that the normative correct way to revise initial beliefs stated as subjective probabilities is by applying Bayes' theorem. So Bayes' theorem states that the revised probability or the posterior odds in the light of additional evidence is equal to the original belief or the Bayes rate multiplied by the amount by which prior expectation should be revised. Okay, next. And then, as mentioned earlier in the previous slide, so probabilistic judgment research is based on analysis whether humans revise their beliefs once new evidence become available. So human judgment theory research within this model has consistently demonstrated that humans possessing a variety of skills levels and observe over a variety of tasks revise their prior probabilities to a lesser extent than Bayes' theorem prescribes. This conservatism has been attributed to the use of the rule of thumb and biases which are adopted as the means of simplifying complex judgment in order for humans to cope. So this is the three rule of thumb in the slide. The first one is representative. So this rule of thumb states that when judging the probability that a particular item comes from a particular population of items, people judgment will be determined by the extent to which the item is representative of the population. Items or events that are viewed by the decision maker as being more representative will be assessed as having a higher probability of occurrence than those that are less representative. And research has shown that the use of this rule of thumb can lead to a poor decision because decision makers who use it often ignore other relevant data that are not part of the representative stereotype. And then the second is availability. So this rule of thumb refers to the assessment of the probability of an event based on the ease with which instance of that event come to mind. So the consequences of this rule of thumb is that the probabilities related to a sensational events are likely to be overestimated. And then the last is anchoring and adjustment. So this rule of thumb refers to a general judgment process in which an initially generated or given response serves as an anchor, and other information is used to adjust that response. And the consequence of this rule of thumb is that the possibility of insufficient adjustment in the light of changing circumstances. And then next. Okay, this is the format and presentation of financial statement. So in 1976, Libby observed that three basic options exist for improving decision making. The first one is changing the presentation and amount of information. Second is educating the decision maker. And then the last is replacing the decision makers either with a model of themselves or with an ideal Q weighting model. Okay, next. Okay, so this is a chart of phases representing changes in a financial condition, a multi-dimensional graphic. So these phases are constructed by mapping transform financial variables onto facial features. So mathematical precision in terms of the nose length, brow angle, and the mouth curvature is used to represent changes in financial position from one period to the next. So it has been a consistent research finding that models generally outperform humans. And so this form is the presentation that offered promise. Actually, this is only for information because up to now, financial statement preparers haven't been prepared to publish graphic as radical as chart of faces. However, the use of color and more conventional graph is common these days. Okay, and then next. So the researchers in the fields of statistics, psychology, information system, and education have investigated the relative advantages of various graphic and tabular forms of visual presentation for displaying both financial and non-financial information. And until now, results are conflicting and questionable, but a common finding in accounting context is that presentation does influence the decision making. However, recent research confirmed that the impact of the different presentation format and styles remain a complex area that needs a further context-specific investigation. Okay, and then next will be presented by my friend Kalda.
Okay, I will continue about the representativeness be evidence. First, the Kahneman and Tversky first reported the existence of representativeness and the tendency to ignore the base rates. The evidence is inconclusive in that it shows base rate information is sometimes neglected and sometimes used appropriately in assessing the probability of an event. The evidence is the use of the base rate information seems to be highly sensitive to a variety of tests and contexts. And the Joyce and Badal use the counting adaptation of the employee theft or lie detector to illustrate the application of bias theorems. In this example, related to the management fraud, a very low base rate was used. Subject would pay insufficient attention to the low base rate and therefore have too high an expectation of fraudulent activity. And the evidence is although the auditors did not ignore the base rate given, they also did not consider it sufficiently. Since the audit judgment often involve low base rate, high impact events, and Joyce and Badal, the findings is doubtful and being argued that is was the wording of the problems, leading to a farming effect. Farming effects are defined as a cognitive perspective, elicited the test and characteristics. For the next is availability of the evidence. The likelihood judgment are based on the retrieval from the memory of relevant instance or construction of the plausible scenarios. The higher the is which one can recall the instance, equal the higher will be the judge probability of occurrence of the event. So this requires a large sample of probabilities to improve the prediction, the accuracy. For example, is the Moser examined the availability of the rule of thumb in connection with investor predictive judgment. The result is the first group mostly predict the higher probability of increase in profit. Despite no objective basis, there is more supporting reason too. Some environmental event regarding particular company that cause disappropriate news coverage might systematically influence the predictive judgment. So he concludes that the individual investor might either overprice or underprice shares because of a tendency for all to think about the company for the same perspective, that is optimistic or pessimistic. For the next is about the anchoring and adjustment, the evidence. Joyce and Badal use the auditors as a subject in examining the effect of changes in internal control system on the extensiveness of substantive tests. The expectation that subjects will adjust for the changes in internal control by adjusting the audit scope, but the adjustment will be insufficient as anchoring on the initial internal control would occur. The result is no evidence on anchoring was found. And Kinney and Uker did find the evidence of anchoring and adjustment in analytical review. So the review and analysis and compliance tests about the audit test or internal control test. And next is about the expert judgment and the rule of thumb. The research is concerned with examining the thought process of expert and determine of expertise. Bowman found the evidence when asking both student and accountant to analyze cases to determine any underlying problems. And the evidence is the experts follow a directed strategy based on standard checklist, complex trends, stereotypes, and develop an overall picture of the company. The expert, when encountering a violation of the stereotype, attempt to uncover the cause, searching for both confirming and unconfirming evidence. Numerous studies in auditing have confirmed that audit experts have better recall, integrative abilities, and error frequency learning ability than do novice. The evidence is the novice follows a simple undirected sequential strategy evaluating information in the order presented, searching for a significant fact which could explain the situation, and the novice searched only for confirming the evidence and did not attempt to find causal explanation. About the numerous studies in auditing have confirmed that the audit experts have better recall the integrative abilities, that the process tracing methods may be a good way of learning more about the differences between decision process of experts and novice. This knowledge will be valuable for training purposes. Next. Next section is about the accounting and behavior. Next. Accounting exists as a direct function of the activities of individuals or groups of individuals that about the accounting entities. There are different viewpoints of accounting, indicating that there are a number of accounting perspectives possible. There are thousands of choice and assumptions are required between alternative accounting techniques in the preparation of financial statement. The main issue that the technique adopted and interpretation of reported information are matters of a perspective. Accounting information will influence the behavior both in the method adopted to measure and report the information and in response of the information disclosed. Next. Next is about the Zimmerman's observation 1997. According to Zimmerman, there are two important observations about the factors affecting the accounting system. First, about the changes in accounting system rarely occur in a vacuum, and the second one is the changes in accounting system likely to occur in a response to the firm business strategy caused by an external shocks from technology and shifting market conditions. In the changes in accounting system rarely occur from a vacuum is accounting system generally occur at the same time as the changes in the firm's business strategy and other organizational changes, particularly with regard to the partitioning of decision rights and the performance evaluation and reward system. And the second one is about the changes in business strategy can be caused by external shocks. It's about the alterations in the firm's organizational architecture, including the changes in accounting system, are likely to occur in response to changes in the firm's business strategy caused by the external shocks from technology and shifting market conditions. Next. The next one is about the limitation of BAR. Next. The limitation of BAR is the first is frequent contradictions between the findings of similar studies, and the human information processing is far more complex than the development of current research theories and methods. And the third one is the research settings fail to adequately replicate real-world settings, and it's about the should policy be influenced by research on individual decision makers. And the major limitation of BAR is the lack of single underlying theory that helps in the unification of diverse research questions and findings of BAR. They instead borrow from multiple disciplines and contexts, so there's no common framework to develop useful generalization of for the policymakers. And about is a single theory is unlikely in the foreseeable future. Next. Next is about the issues for the auditors. Next. The behavioral auditing research can investigate how auditors perform their audit tests and make their judgment. Archival studies of auditor choice often treat process of auditing as a black box. The behavioral research attempts to go inside the black box to examine the characteristic of better performing auditors and investigate factors that affect auditors' performance. Next. For the early research question, does greater audit experience improve the quality of auditors' judgment? The answer was not conclusive. The auditor with industry-specific experience have higher quality auditor judgment when working on those industry. If auditors have to work outside the specialization, they don't exhibit greater levels of for the performance because supported by large audit firms organize their practice along the industry line. Next. And in 1918, that the Osho, Mazayan, and Lynch shows that auditor specialist knowledge isn't transferable to other contexts. And Hammersley in 2006 suggests that is because industry specialist auditors are able to use multiple cues more efficiently than other auditors within the industry specialist context. The cues are pieces of information, and Hammersley was interested in the performance of specialist and non-specialist auditors in using cues to make patterns that represent the existence of financial misstatements. He shows that the specialist auditors use more efficient and effective procedures to detect the presence of misstatements, but not only in their specialization. The industry specialization research focuses on auditor competence, which is the part of the audit quality. Koch and Smith examined the disclosing conflicts of interest affect the auditor's reporting decision. Koch and Smith found that the more experienced auditors are less likely to misreport in these circumstances. They also found that when auditors do not disclose their fees, they work to build a reputation for truthful reporting. Another way of investigating auditor independence is to examining the investor's reaction to information about the auditors. For example, Davis, Holly, Dokuch, King, and Schwartz investigated investor prescriptions about the auditor independence. When the auditors are receiving non-audit service fee revenue from their audit client, found that disclosure of non-audit fees reduced the accuracy of investor prescription of audit independence. These results are important because their evidence suggests that when the auditor is independent, in fact, the appearance of independence can be impaired and share prices adversely affected. The regulations such as the Sarbanes-Oxley Act 2002 when introduced the prevent auditor independence problems by restricting the auditor's provision of non-audit services to their clients. And the experimental research has the potential to complement the research using archival data by focusing on the behavior of auditors and investors. Behavioral research face significant methodological challenges. There is often a tension between making the experiment sufficiently realistic by incorporating many contextual factors and making it simple enough so that the researchers can be sure that the observed outcome is caused by the manipulation of the specific factor under the investigation. Next. The next session, we will discuss about the case study. Next. The question is, why would the management of individual reporting entities be interested in the result of behavioral research in accounting? The answer, the first one is about the behavioral accounting takes into account the experience and incentive of key decision makers when assessing a company. Also find out how accounting practice and processes work in sequence. It affects the behavior and processes of staff working in the company. Behavioral accounting is an area of accounting that takes into account employee behavior in addition to traditional accounting knowledge. It also covers how accounting decisions within an organization can affect the employee attitudes and behavior. Behavioral accounting aims to modify and enhance the traditional approach to accounting theory that underestimates order and other prescriptions, attitudes, values, and behaviors. Next.
And then behavioral accounting is a descendant of the combination of accounting and behavioral science. It is represent the application of behavioral science method and perspective to accounting problems. And then the behavioral aspect of accounting is aimed at gaining a better understanding of human behavior that influence the decision-making process in all accounting contexts and attitude. This area of accounting address aspects such as human information processing behavior, quality of judgment, and issues created by users and providers of accounting information. The behavioral accounting is a method of analyzing the impact of business process and then opinions and human variables on the value of the entire organization. In behavioral accounting, the company's valuation goes beyond numbers to include human factors. So behavioral accounting is of particular interest to researchers because of the time constraint, responsibilities, judgment, and motivation of individual decision making.
Okay, and then next is the example. So there are two companies, Sumber Corporation and Berkah Corporation. They are identical in terms of the financial statement and also the asset. If Sumber has a more experienced workforce and stronger control than Berkah, then Sumber should be more valuable in terms of market valuation and probability. Behavioral accounting can also be used within a company to better assess the employee performance. If top management uses both financial and non-financial indicators to assess the performance of the mid-career managers, then the mid-career manager may also use both financial and non-financial indicators to assess their subordinates. On the other hand, if top management use only financial indicator and ignore non-financial indicator when assessing the performance of the mid-career manager, their prejudice will spread to the next career of management via the contagion effect, who may put excessive emphasis on financial measure in performance evaluation as well. And then next. Okay, that's all about our presentation. Thank you for attention.